Now, you probably already know, but I'm 80 years old, and my topic today is how can we flourish in old age? Isn't old age something that people dread? Especially included in that number of people who dread old age are Christians. People associate old age with aches and pains that never used to be in the body, plus a forgetfulness that robs them of short-term memory. Now, if you find it hard to climb stairs or wonder where you put your reading glasses, you're not alone. You go to the doctor, he will say it's old age. Why are you so surprised? This is normal at your age. If you have a computer and the internet finds out that you're 80, then your email inbox will become cluttered with how you can correct blurry vision and lower inflammation in your hips and knees. I know, my inbox is like that. Now, why should we think this to be so unusual? Doesn't everybody go through a loss of vigor and vitality? Well, obviously Moses wasn't paying attention to the people around him if they were like that, because he was very strong right to the end of his life. And he was told at the end of his life to climb Mount Nebo, 700 meters high, 2,100 feet in altitude. God instructed him to climb that mountain. That's in Deuteronomy 34 and verse 1. And in verse 7, Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. He was strong. Now, the much quoted Psalm 91 is also being written by Moses as a companion psalm to Psalm 90, and both date from the beginning of the 40-year period of wandering in the wilderness. And in Psalm 91, the last verse says this: "With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation." Colour it yellow, it's a promise. Psalm 91, verse 16. But today, I want to look at Psalm 92, turn the page, in order to find answers to where we can not only survive, but thrive. Where do you imagine that place is? Let's have a look in Psalm 92. "The righteous will flourish like the date palm, long-lived, upright and useful. They will grow like a cedar in Lebanon, majestic and stable." Where? Planted in the house of the Lord. They will flourish in the courts of our God. There they will grow in grace. They will thrive and bear fruit and prosper in old age. They will flourish and be vital and fresh, rich in trust and love and contentment. They are living memorials to declare that the Lord is upright and faithful to his promises. He is my rock, there is no unrighteousness in him. Psalm 92, 12 to 15, the Amplified Classic Version. Now, as mentioned 3 times, flourish. They shall flourish. What's flourish mean? Well, the definition from the dictionary tells me this: how a living thing, animal or plant, will grow vigorously thanks to a suitable environment. Now, we all know that if we have a plant in our house and its leaves turn yellow, then move the pot out of the sun or stop watering it so much. If you get the conditions right, it will flourish and put on new leaves. And the same is true for people. If we've moved house and we have unpleasant neighbours, we will be stressed and long for a quieter environment. Now, the psalmist repeats 3 times, the best place to flourish is in God's house, or more precisely, in God's courts. Now, we know that heaven's administrative system is run like a court. It's the court of heaven. Remind yourself of what Mount Zion is like in the court of heaven in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 22 to 24 in the Amplified Classic. Who is present in that court? Well, Father God as judge, Jesus as the mediator of the new covenant, the mercy seat with Christ's blood on it, innumerable angels, and the spirits of righteous men who are registered as citizens of heaven. All is a crowded place, I tell you. Now, it's not as you would imagine a court. It's an atmosphere of love, joy, and peace. Even the angels are dressed up for their court appearance. It mentions they're in festive dressing. In other words, like they're going to a wedding or a party. They dress well. Now, as believers, it's a place where we can grow in grace. It's a place of grace, knowing we are loved and accepted, specifically because it is the grace court. Hebrews 4 and verse 16. The grace court is where we need to be planted. The grace court is where we will flourish in old age and declare and experience God's promises and find out that they were true, and they are true. There, all the accusations of law breaking that we have fired at us by the adversary, the accuser of the brethren, all of them will be dismissed, and we will be healed in our fleshly body as well as in our soul. And then, and only then, will we be able to sing for joy like David as we find justice. Now, my quote to finish this teaching is Psalm 84. My soul yearns, yes, even pines, and is homesick for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cry out and sing for joy to the living God. That's Psalm 84 and verse 2. So David, his soul yearned for the courts of the Lord. His flesh yearned for the courts of the Lord. He's a good role model. Let's develop his attitude. I'll tell you more about the courts of grace next time, so remember to tune in.